Oh,
Okay.
ahí va.
Okay,
With
right.
both hands. I'm going to try to get it.
There it is. Wait. Right there. In the floor. By the floor. Are you getting it?
You got it? No.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Influence Me. I'm super excited. As you guys can tell, I am in a new place. I just renovated the set, and I'm super excited because hoy invité a dos invitadas muy especiales. Ladies and gentlemen, with us today, Anita and Betsy in the house.
Let's go. Just kidding.
It finally happened, dude.
I know.
How are you guys?
Finally. Good. We're good. How about you? I feel like we just saw
I know,
you.
like we literally had like an hour conversation, and we're like, hi, babe.
Yeah, guys. So he actually did our photo shoot and a little video clip, our what is it? What would you call it?
Promo.
Our promo video for our new podcast. So I feel like we saw you like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that's what we're like.
Well, we did see him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm like, we've seen you.
And we were supposed to shoot the podcast last week, but also I wanted to make sure that, you know, I took care of you guys how I take care of everyone. You know, we did it right. I didn't just want to just like, let's just shoot something. Nah, like I really wanted to take the time to make sure this episode went out good, you know?
Aw,
Yeah,
and
I
we thank you.
appreciate that.
You actually been supporting us before we even launched the podcast. So we want to thank you. We appreciate your
So grateful
support,
for
your
you.
loyalty. Yeah, we're very grateful for you.
So let's talk a little bit about how you guys met. ¿Cómo se dio esta relación? Because
Oh my
honestly, I
gosh.
think you guys have a lot of chemistry together, and I've been watching you guys' podcasts and episodes. And you guys look like you guys get along super well. How did you guys meet?
Yeah, we did. So actually, I met her through Jose because she does real estate. So at the time, Jose was actually doing videos for real estate agents. And so she was working with him. But at the time, I never really talked to you. It was just like I knew who you were and that was it. And then, you know, once our separation happened, me and her really clicked. She was there for me through the whole process, and every time we would talk, it was just kind of like, damn,
we clicked right away. Every time we would, get on the phone, it was like hour to 2 hours.
Yes.
And it was like a lot of support back and forth. And the next day or, a couple of days after, we would pick up right where we left off. So it was just, it's just a puzzle piece. Like it just be blended together.
And the podcast came about the same, just because your guys' conversations, you guys are like,
yeah, so
how
you
did
know
that come
what?
about?
I honestly feel like the reason why we connected was because we share a lot of our values and our morals. Like they're very aligned. So I think that really helped to connect, our friendship. And then from there, the conversations, obviously, I felt like she could relate to me. I felt like everything that I believed in, she believed in. So I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So it's, it's hard to come across people that are aligned with your values and your morals or, your beliefs. So when that person does come, it's just kind of like nice to have conversations that you're like, wow, if only everybody thought like this,
Yeah. So let's get to know. I mean, I already had an episode with you, of course, but we'll for those of you who are new watching this episode, I want to introduce you guys individually. That way, you guys can tell us a little bit about what you do. So, Betsy,
You go first.
¿qué haces tú?
I get really shy.
¿A qué te dedicas?
I get really shy.
But you weren't shy when we were doing our podcast.
I know. It's just,
It's different.
She's easing
It's
into
different,
it.
yes. So I'm a San Diego real estate agent. I'm part of a team out of Oceanside, and we are dedicated mostly to helping veterans. We help other families as well, but our main key is helping veterans get into their home. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm a mom of 3. I got a boy, Ethan, Ileana, and Emma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hobbies? ¿Qué te gusta hacer? She's like, no more.
Yeah, no, that's it.
¿Qué te-
On to her.
¿Qué te gusta hacer? What are you into? What do you do on the
Call
day?
us Betsy.
We want to get to know
Here's my
you.
Tinder profile. I like long hikes at the beach.
Oh my God.
Hobbies, I like to spend a lot of time with my kiddos.
Okay.
I love family time. I'm very big on family time. I like to surround myself with, like Anita said, people that have like the same, kind
Energy.
of energy.
I know
very big.
what else you like. She likes to dance.
Hey.
I love dancing.
I'm like, don't
Oh
forget
yeah,
that
the
one.
photo shoot. I remember pura salsa estaba bailando.
sí.
She likes
Le
salsa.
encanta.
Póngame merengue, salsa, reggaeton. I'm on the dance floor.
Yes.
But so I like to spend family time with my kiddos, with my family, doing a lot of activities, theme parks, And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm very laid back.
Okay, Anita?
No, you're not laid back.
It's
She
crazy.
is
I'm
not.
very innocent, guys.
No, she's the complete opposite of me. I'm a lot more like chill, mellow. We're driving and she's like busting the music with her bailes, everything, multitasking.
Multitasking.
We were just literally talking about that right now.
It was funny because, there was traffic on the way over here and the fast lane was like literally like to a halt. And I don't know how I just went all the way to the side. And she was like,
I don't know. Like, it was so smooth. I saw the car brake and I was like, this girl's not going to brake. But she just went, and I was like, how did we get from like that lane to like the other lane right across? It was
funny.
so
She'll
funny.
say, I was like, what time did we get there? I was like, it says 1:45. We'll be there like at 1:30.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm like, dude,
make it
I
happen.
swear this girl can multitask. No, but yeah, I think she's so much fun. You can feel her energy right away.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. It's good. It brings everything up.
I know. Yeah, she like hypes me up.
She's like,
Look at her. She's
next.
being shy. She's like, Anita.
Go.
So Anita, tell us a little bit about. I mean, we know you for those people that don't for those people that don't know who you are.
So my name is Anita. I do social media, YouTube, and my business. I do brows, and I'm a mom of 2. I was gonna say 3. I was like, no, because you were saying 3, so I was like, I'm a mom of 3. I was like, no, but yeah, I'm a mom of 2. Mila, who's 8, and then Aiden, he's 2.
Okay.
So yeah.
I know that on social media you post, or you have your vlogs. Pero ¿qué te gusta hacer también para divertirte? Is it like, are you también in the family right now?
Yes,
because of your separation,
I
you're
am
like
very family oriented. Like, I love spending time with like my mom, my sister, my brothers, and just taking the kids to places. I think I live through the kids, so I'm always like trying to take them to the park, like museums, little stuff like that where they can get their little brain stimulated,
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I honestly, like, I'm very artistic, so I think the brows ties like my hobby too, It's, even though it's my career, it's also like
how long did you start that?
a year and a half
Yeah,
ago.
tienes a year and a half.
Yeah,
Wow,
tengo un año y medio. Cuando vine, last time we did the podcast, I had just started it too.
That's
I was like
crazy.
a couple of months in.
And how do you like right now? Ahorita como te gusta? How's that?
Oh, I love it. I feel like you never stop learning. Obviously, I'm gonna do I'm gonna launch my courses.
Wow.
Yes. So
Exclusiva.
yeah, you heard it here first. She's been pushing me. Yeah,
I
but
just gave her a deadline too.
she did. She did. And I was like, it was actually that day we came up with you. She was like, all right, so what's going on with you? And I'm like, just doing brows. She's
When are
like,
you doing your course?
yeah. So that day I was like, all right. She's like, I give you till Monday to have a business plan for your courses.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then next thing you know, I was like, dude, I'm working on my manual. So yeah, I'm going to
That's
launch
so cool.
those soon. So stay tuned. But yeah, that's pretty much.
That's
what I've
cool.
been doing.
I'm really liking how you guys support each other, and watching your guys' podcast kind of lets me understand that it's not only like the topics that you guys talk about that brings value to the people, it's also your guys' experiences. So I know that you guys been through, I mean, how old I don't want to say how old you guys, but like, I mean,
We don't mind sharing.
¿cuántos años tienen?
I'm 28.
28, okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yo,
21?
15, I'm just kidding.
1985. I'm 28. I'm 38.
But we have experience. I mean, we're already at
Yes.
that age where
Yeah.
we have kids. We've been through the ups and downs, and sometimes a lot of people that watch our shows relate to some of the things that we say. So it's super dope that you guys are able to and are willing to share your guys' journey through your guys' episodes. That way people can also see, like, you know what, maybe if they're going through it and they handled it this way, maybe I should kind of try the same thing. Or if they're with someone that they're not supposed to be, or like even just topics that you guys talk about, sometimes someone needs that como reassurance of like, oh, you know what, I was thinking the same thing, but I thought that I was thinking it the wrong way.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? I actually wanted to do the podcast about a year before me and Anita became really close.
Yeah.
And I had invited Anita, actually.
You
But
did?
Yeah, she was going, she had just had a baby. She had her hands full. And I had actually invited another, one of my friends, more acquaintance, to do the podcast with me. And we did one try. We did one episode, and it just didn't click. And I could have continued, but something was just like, you know what, like, it doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like, it's gonna flow. And I feel like a podcast should flow. You should not force it.
Right.
You know, I think the right people in a podcast have to connect and not have same vision, but just
Understanding of
what you're trying to put out there. And that's when, again, I reached out to Anita. Actually, we didn't.
No.
We were having a conversation and we would support each other. And then I was like, you know what? This would be so good to do a podcast because there's a lot of women going through either similar things that we're going through or they just want the support. And me and you are blessed that we have the support. We have the friendships. We have the family. But there's women out there that don't have that. And she's like, you know what? We're doing the podcast. And that surprised me. So we had put it out there. And I remember you went either a live or a story. And she's like, and stay tuned, we're doing our podcast. And I was like, wait, what?
You're like, oh shit, it's official.
It's official.
It's official. So once she did that, that's what got the ball rolling. We had talked about it, but it was that post or story. I don't know. Was it a story?
I think it was a story.
A story that, started the ball rolling. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your podcast. I want to actually dive in terms of what is it about?
So I think a lot of the... when we first launched it was a lot about mental health, like women's mental health, obviously to stay-at-home moms, and then also entrepreneurship, because we are both business women. So we were like, you know what, let's show how, we were as stay-at-home moms, how we built ourselves up, how we started our business, and just give hope to all these other women. So yeah, it was just mainly that. And then we started bringing in more guests into our podcast who, have been through hardships and, became successful. But it's always been kind of showing the
real stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like social media is so based off what people put out there, which is fine. That's how they grow their audience. That's how they grow their following. But a lot of people don't really put what really they go through. They just put the happy side of things. And next thing you know, as soon as that camera's off, they're going through depression. They're alone. They're at home, like literally suffering by themselves.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, create a podcast that would bring, it would light that. Not light. What's the word I'm looking for? Shine the light on the things that we don't really post.
Okay.
And talk about the stories on how people got where they got to. But before they got to, they went through a lot of stuff.
And the battles.
And the battles that they had to deal with.
Mental. Yeah.
How difficult is it talking about like sensitive topics, because sometimes it is hardest to throw yourself out there, and especially you, Anita, coming from a social media platform.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mentally también draining to pour yourself out there and, the feedback and all that. How is that dealing with that?
So I feel like because we both bring different sides, it's what makes the podcast what it is.
Right.
She's coming from the influence side, right? Where she has to watch what she puts or she has to hear the negative and positive side of these followers. For me, when we started this, I was like, I don't care. Nobody knows me, so I'm going to put myself out there. But the more you start seeing what people comment or how they see you, you start kind of like, maybe I shouldn't talk about that. Or maybe should I set a different, in a different way.
Yeah.
So it just depends. I think we both have to be on the same page on what we talk about.
Yes.
I respect her views and I respect what she wants to put out there and what she doesn't, and she does the same for me.
Yep.
So for me, I could be open about probably my relationship, right? Or my struggles as a mom or being an autistic mom. As for her, she could probably be more quiet and more reserved on her relationship, but be more open about, the way she handles her kids and being a mother.
Absolutely.
So it's just, we just balance each other.
Yes, you said that perfectly. Very well said.
That's why we got a podcast.
That's
why
it.
we got it.
That's why. Just kidding. No, but yeah, I think even when, we first launched it, it was really nice seeing the support we were having. A lot of women, it's crazy to say, but like a lot of women go through that, and we didn't really think we were gonna get that much support, right?
No.
It was like women would just send paragraphs like on our DMs, like, wow, you have no idea, like I'm going through this, and it was just like, wow, it felt really good being able to share that, and that kind of helps you. Me and her was like, you know what, we're doing the right thing. Because a lot of times we had our doubts, like, should we share that? Should we even be putting all this out? Because, obviously we do have like some negative comments here and there, especially for me. But she was having a hard time too. Like, oh my God, they're looking at my stuff. And
that was completely,
Yeah.
I went through a rough patch there because now I was like watching what I was putting out there. That picture doesn't look good. I look fat here. What are they going to think? And then my stories started picking up and I'm like, oh my gosh, who's this? Who's looking at my stuff? Oh my gosh.
Paranoid.
I was very paranoid and I went private.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't. I don't know how you guys being in the influence world handle that.
So what is it that made you double think about what you were going to post or worried you about your posts?
So you see, I have 2 Instagram pages. I have my real estate and I have my personal. In my real estate, I'm actually, more outgoing. I'm talking about real estate, so I'm not so worried about what I'm posting as long as it's real estate related. When it comes to my personal stuff, it's more like, okay, they're looking at my kiddos. If I went out tonight, what are they going to think of me? Or if I don't know, if people do stupid stuff,
Yeah.
So now I feel like I couldn't be myself in my own personal page, or I was going to get judged a certain way. It just became too stressful for me.
Right.
And that's why I decided to go private. I guess it's just more of I put myself in a position where I was already starting to care about what other people were thinking.
Yeah.
When I'm always the one saying, who cares?
Right.
Do it. You don't know these people. They don't owe you nothing. You don't owe them nothing. They're not paying your bills. They're not supporting you or taking care of your kids. Who cares? I'm that type of friend, right? Like I will push you. But when it came to me, now I started putting myself in that position and carrying what people would have thought of me.
Yeah.
And it's just.
And that's where Anita would come in because you probably gave her some advice because, you went through something similar like that where...
even at that, she took me to a baby shower and I felt so out of place. And don't get me wrong, everybody was so sweet, very nice, outgoing. They were having a great time. But I just felt like I was out of my comfort zone. And she was like, you're fine. You look great. And I was like, no, I don't want to get off this table. Just leave me here. Go get me a plate of food. And she's like, are you serious? I was like, go get me food.
Damn.
It's a different world.
It was new.
It was new.
Yeah.
All the attention.
Yeah. Yeah, she was...
Well, think about it, okay? We walk into the baby shower, and as soon as we walk in, everybody looks, towards Anita, and I'm right next to her, and I'm like, Anita, what just happened? And she's like, just walk. I was like, they're looking at us. Why are they looking at us? Mama,
she's like, do I look weird?
Do I look weird? Am I dressed right? I was like, it's this dress. And she's like, stop. But they wouldn't stop looking, right? If we went to the table, they were looking. If we went to get food, they were looking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Anita, why are they looking? Is my hair okay? And she's like, oh my gosh.
She was taking it personal.
I was taking it personal. She's like, my anxiety went from 0 to 100 within seconds.
Yeah.
And
that was crazy. I didn't even post that vlog because I was like, we started, she was so happy. I picked her up and she was,
we were dancing on
our way over there. And then as soon as we got there, her face changed. And it was just kind of like she was shut down. She didn't want to talk. She didn't want to get up. And I was like, oh my God, I've never seen her. That was the first time I ever experienced something with her like that. But I was like, damn, she's really going through it.
Yeah, I felt out of my comfort zone for sure.
What are some of the things that you guys notice that's not repetitive, or I don't want to say repetitive, but is the usual feedback from people that are supporting you guys on your guys' podcast? What are some of the comments or messages that you guys get that are every day or it's the typical conversation that people want to have?
Yeah.
The messages that we got were mostly we actually got both men and women.
Wow.
But it was mostly women saying, thank you for creating a podcast where I don't think I'm alone.
Yes.
Where I don't think I'm the only one going crazy, or I'm the only one looking at my situation am I the only one going through this? We had men messaging us saying, thank you, because now I get to go and talk to my wife. I kind of understand now where she's coming from. Or thank you for recommending this book, because now I'm going to go read this book and see what's her love language. So the fact that we got that from men, to me was, I felt it was a proud moment for me as well, because men have a lot of trouble understanding their wife or their girlfriend or women in general. And they think it's something that they're doing wrong, or that they're not doing enough, or we're not appreciated. And when it has something completely, totally nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It's more of us, the women, And so that was one of the best comments that we got was from the men's side.
It's surprising, obviously, for me, because a lot of men typically se quedan callados, you know?
Sí.
And it sucks because, and I think that has to do a lot with our culture, because as Mexicans, it's like when you're growing up, your dad or your uncle is like, oh, los niños no lloran, los hombres no lloran.
I hate
We
that.
grew up with shit like that. So it's I said it before in my podcast. I'm a mess. I'm happy, sad. I cry. Sometimes I need to go out for a drive. And I'm open with my kids and I'm open with my girlfriend. Even my brothers, I'll tell them like, dude, last night I went out for a drive because I was dealing with so much pressure and I just needed to let it out, you know, and I talk.
And the fact is that some men know that they're going through. The fact that you go out for a drive and you try to connect with yourself, I'm proud of you, because a lot of men don't do that. A lot of men will either go drinking to, mask that pain or mask whatever they're going through, go smoke, go cheat, go talk to other women. Like, they'll do the negative stuff.
Right.
Instead of trying to do the positive stuff and
different ways.
Get to the root of the problem on why they're acting the way they're acting.
Yes.
So the fact that you get to acknowledge, like, hey, one day I'm okay, the next day I'm not. Hey, congratulations. So are women. So is a bunch of other men out there too, you know? And if we could just get a little bit of more of that, men coming up to the table and be like, hey, dude, like, some days are shit for me.
Yeah.
Can I cuss?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, some days are shit for me.
Yeah.
I need help. Like, how do you do it? If we could just open that door, especially in the Hispanic community, one, divorce rates will go down. More families together, more fathers raising men to actually be in touch with those feelings. And I think that's something that we need to break as the Hispanic community.
I want to talk about something now that we're here. And you guys just having this conversation right now. I notice, and a lot of guys I feel are going to hopefully understand where I'm coming from with this. Don't cancel me, guys. But I noticed that just like men, I think that the reason why we stay quiet sometimes in terms of our spouse and communication is sometimes we don't want to, and it's a bad thing, right? But sometimes we don't want to hear the nag or hear the argument, or sometimes we don't want to even take it to that place. I think in the beginning of a relationship, especially when you're young, you argue so much.
Right.
Go back and forth, back and forth. Then you get to a point where you just kind of brush it under the rug.
Así es ella.
You're just like, I already know how she is. She'll get over it in 2 hours or in 1 hour, in a week, or whatever. But I feel that the longer you let that, brush it under the rug, the more bottled in you have, the more emotions you have bottled in, and the more of a possibility you're gonna explode one day because you just been holding this grudge and holding this energy,
bottling everything, all the emotions.
I also feel that. Well, question: why do you think it's so hard for guys to have that communication with women?
The way they were brought up.
Is that?
Yeah, you got to.
Or also, I also do. Yes, I agree with you, but I also do have. I have to say that I think it's also your partner, because if your partner is a person who doesn't take criticism well, or is gonna, like you said, nag, then you're walking on eggshells, and then you're like, should I even open up to her?
It's vice versa. I'm not just talking about guys to girls. It's also girls to guys, right? Girls also sometimes want to have the communication with the guy, but the guy is super shut down. Sometimes they're not even open to communication. They're like, stop bitching at me. Like, get the fuck away from me. So I think it comes from both ways, but you're right. It does. I feel that it depends on the partner as well. Yeah. Because if guys are open to talk to someone and they're not open, to their partner, then the girl is not willing to have that communication, then it's going to be way more easier for the guy to be like, you know what?
But you see, I disagree. What happens when the wife or the girlfriend is the one trying to communicate, is the one trying to be like, hey, I know there's something wrong with you. Like, talk to me. What's wrong? Because let's be honest, after about a year, maybe, you already know your partner. You know what buttons to push to take him off. You know what's going to piss him off, what he likes, what he doesn't like, vice versa for the women, right? You get to know them as a person, and you get to know their darkest secrets inside, your four walls. But when there's a man that doesn't want to open up, the girlfriend or the wife has to literally like, hey, what's wrong? Talk to me. I know there's something wrong. I know you're sad. And he doesn't want to. At what point does she stop trying? At what point is it like, you know what? Like I'm trying to be here for you. I'm trying to help you, but you just don't want it.
But is there, do you think, a way where we can convince the guy, we can talk to him, we can, honestly, like, what is it?
I feel like, como dijo Betsy, your upbringing, right? If you had a parent who your dad raised you like, oh, very machista, like, oh, you know, you suck it up and you do it, blah, 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 then, you know, that's the issue. And I feel like it's hard for you to overcome it, especially if you don't want to, then I don't think that could change. You know, no matter what you do, you could try. And if he just doesn't want to open up, like Betsy said, how much can you do?
Yeah.
You know?
And here's the thing, okay? Us as women, we envision a person that we want to be married to. And once we get married to that person, you see the red flags when you're dating. You see the red flags before you get married. But there's a part of us that always wants to fix a man or wants to see the good in him, something that they probably don't ever see in them. You know, they accept the way they are and they keep going around the world the way they are. So at what point will a man change for a woman? Sometimes these men don't change. They like to be the way they are. They like to live the way they live. And that's it. And then there's some of the men that, you know, sit down and actually get in touch with their feelings and be like, you know what? La estoy cagando.
Yeah.
I'm messing up. I'm going to lose my wife. I'm going to lose my kids. And they do the work. They put in the work, not just put in the work for a month, 2 months, because to heal trauma that they bring.
You never heal.
You never heal.
You're
you have
learning.
to keep working at it. You have to get the help. You got to go to, you know, a counselor. What is it called? Therapist. You have to go to a therapist because these issues, even though we suppress them as adults, when something triggers you, it's going to come out without you even wanting it to come out. So this is an ongoing thing for men and women. So at this point, I think the man has to want to and really know what he values and prioritizes first.
Exactly.
If he doesn't prioritize who he's with or his kids, he's not going to get the help. And he's going to keep going, living his life, thinking he's not doing anything at all.
Yeah, I can relate a little bit to that. In terms of like not wanting to change who you are, I was like a complete, like, I mean, I know on social media, I don't post a lot of myself. So maybe in this episode, you guys are going to get
like,
to know me.
You'll
be like, damn, this was a nice one.
So this is Adrian.
Cancel. But I was really stubborn before. I was super stubborn. I was really like, it's my way. And especially I feel cuando te van bien las cosas. Hasta más, because it's like, wait, I've been, and I'm going to be honest with you. And I swear, damn, I shouldn't say this, but I told my girlfriend when it came to my dreams, I said, you know what? I'm going to do what I have to do to follow my dreams. You can either be with me on this ride or you cannot be with me in this ride.
And I love that.
Because if I am not happy,
you can't give her your best.
I'm not going to give you my best.
Yep.
And if you're with me, let's go 100%. But if you're not, I'm going to have to let you go.
But let me ask you, you communicated.
Yes.
There would be a difference if you came up to her, but like, hey, this is my dream. You're either with me or you're not. I already decided. Like you literally went up to her and be like, hey, this is my dream. I want you to support me. And if you don't, I understand. But this is what I need to do for us.
Yeah. And it took me a long time. So I would say, I mean, I wouldn't even know like if there's like things that you should do to get to that point. Cause I don't know for me, I think it was just maturity or just, you know, I don't know, but it took me like 10 years for me to actually figure out I'm not happy where I'm at. I'm really not happy. I was just working day to day. I was, you know, going to work, coming back, just living like a zombie. I was just like not even present. Yeah. And until I noticed until I figured out what I wanted to do, that's when I realized. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go at this 100%. When I started going 100%, I started getting that pushback from her because obviously she was not used to it. She was used to the stability.
Yes.
She was used to like me bringing a check every 2 weeks. So we started having issues in terms of that. It's like, hey, where's the money? Like, hey, I'm doing this. I have this dream. I have this goal.
Right.
And
sacrifices.
Yeah, we have to sacrifice a little bit. And honestly, it took 10 years to get to where I'm at. And barely, I would say this year, we're barely starting to see that. And we're barely starting to communicate in terms of like, oh, okay. But again, I was really stubborn, especially when things were going right, because it's like, how can I change who I am if everything that I've done has been working out so much? It just, I also had to think, and I didn't want to celebrate everything that I have going on by myself. I didn't want to get to wherever I was going to get and then just be by myself and
share it with
exactly. But it's also, that's what's so hard, I think, for men. It's like you want your spouse to be there, but if she doesn't believe.
But let me cut you off real quick. So yes, like I agree with you, you know, but it also takes a strong woman to be by your side for a man like yourself, right? Because if she's not strong enough, she's not gonna understand your vision, right? And it really does take, because I know it for a fact. Like I went through that, right? So you have a hustler, you have a person who's a visionary and, you know, a go-getter. They're gonna do whatever it takes to get to the top with their family, right? But we have to take all the back end stuff, like being at home, especially if you have kids, you're stuck with the kids, right? And it's a mental battle for the woman, because you're like, now you're not just losing your husband who you were used to spending, you know, the weekends, all the afternoons, all of that's taken away, you know? And so it takes a really strong woman to stand by your side. And the fact that your wife or she believed in you. She did. And she stood by your side. And obviously there was going to be conflicts, but you know, she stood by your side, and that's a strong woman.
Yeah. And that's why we say that for entrepreneurs. And again, I'm speaking in behalf of people that have businesses and that want to follow their dreams, because it is tough. You have to make these decisions. And there were moments where it was like, I don't know if we're meant to be together, because I'm like this and you're like, no. And it's like, how can we come into an agreement where it's like, understand me, try. But it's like you're saying, it does take someone that's really strong for them to understand, like, you know what, I'm gonna be with him, you know?
Yeah.
Especially my character también, because I can be like really direct, right?
Right.
And you're right. You said earlier to try to put their part. I think that one of the things that I need to work on more, I feel, is like trying to be more lovable, like more.
Learn her love language.
Like
her love language.
Let me put it this way. Yes.
Therapy for films.
Hey, you know what? And so let me add something to this. Like, this is why, like, when we started our podcast, I would tell her, like, man, like, I want to have men in there, because like these conversations, you know, for example, you're comfortable coming to us and asking us, like, so what can I do? Like little advices, and vice versa for us. Like sometimes we're like, man, like it's hard to understand a man. So hearing a man come to our podcast and say their perspective, how men think, we're like, oh, because we think very different. Men and women act and do things very differently. But, you know, it's nice that we're having these conversations. So yes, you guys, for our podcast, we're actually going to be having men, and we're going to have conversations like this, because it's so beneficial. I feel like it's so important in relationships. And if you want something with your significant other, these are, you know, like you're a little. And
I'm not trying to bash girls.
Oh,
or, you know,
no, absolutely
it's
not.
just like, again, just a friendly.
No,
this is what we need. More of you out there talking like, hey, what can I do? Because right now, what you said, right? I was in a mission and I needed her to be on board. And she said, you need a strong woman. And I could tell you my point of view when it comes to that. Yes, you need a strong woman, but you also need a man that's going to communicate with the wife, prioritize the family, because one thing is you wanting to go and create your dream so you could take care of your family, but another thing is you going to create your dream and neglecting your family.
Exactly.
Two different things.
Absolutely.
So if a man does not know how to prioritize what's really important and then starts prioritizing their dream, now you have neglected the family. And a lot of men get that confused. They'll say, oh, I'm doing this for the family, I'm doing this to give you guys a better life. Yeah, but we're still here. You know, take care of us right now while still doing your dream. You know, same thing for women. Women can't get up and just, hey, I'm going to come back for you guys. I'm going to go do my dream. No, if you notice, women that are entrepreneurs and that are very successful carry the family with them.
It's harder
for them. It's different for men. Men could go out and do their dream and be like, when I make it, I'll come back. No, it doesn't work like that, because then now you're just being selfish. So you could see this in many different ways. But you got to call it as it is, and you got to be honest on what you're really doing. Are you really doing this for the family, or are you doing this for your selfish ways?
It's all about balance, though, you know, because I feel like, yes, like you could be, let's say, you know, if you didn't have your family, you would be 100% with your business and you could get there within a year.
Yeah.
As opposed to, now you got to make sacrifices where you're like, I still want to get there, but I know it's going to take me 2 years instead. But at least I'm bringing my family along. So yes, you're taking on all these projects and all of that, but at the end of the day, you try to make time for your family.
Yeah. And I think it depends too, the type of work. I feel that personally for me, I don't think I would have got to the position where I'm at if she wasn't with me. Honestly, I think that, like you're saying, she stays with the kids, and we made this agreement when we first, because we were young. We were 16 when we had our first kid, and I told her, I'm like, you know what? I don't want anyone else to raise our kids. I want us to raise our kids. So let's do something. 5 years, give me 5 years until our first kid goes to kindergarten. Then you can start doing your career. Let me work, let me bust it, because we're still underage. So I was like, we still have time. Let me bust it, let me do my thing. And then, we had more kids, so that kind of delayed the time.
You're like, sorry, make it 10 years.
Make it 10 years.
Change your plans.
Yeah. But after I was like, you know what? Once they were old enough, I was like, follow your career, do what you want to do. And she decided, you know what, like I want to stay home and I want to apoyarte with the kids and the household stuff. So
that's what worked for you guys.
That's what worked for us, and we're a team where we both
partnership.
Yeah, partnership.
I love
of course, it we had our bumpy roads even with that, because it's like I remember it was a funny thing where, well, I don't know if it's funny, but she's like, oh, is there waters in the house? I was like, I don't know. She's like, yeah. What do you mean you don't know? You don't know if there's waters in the house? I was like, I don't know. Like that's not.
You don't have to worry about.
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish I could. I really wish I could worry about if there's tapatio, if there's tortillas, if there's that. I have so much shit.
Yeah.
That I have going on.
Yeah.
That there's no fucking way that I'm gonna think
about the water
if there's fucking waters in the house.
Yeah.
So like we had to come into an agreement in terms of like, okay, what's your responsibilities? What are my responsibilities?
I love
that.
Yeah.
But you see, you communicated.
Yeah.
You communicated, and that's what I'm telling you. My hat's off to you because you're communicating this to her. Can you imagine you just doing what you got to do without the communication? Can you imagine you doing what you have to do without including her or acknowledging her?
Yeah.
Like, do you really think you would be together at this moment?
No.
So it's you knowing that you needed to do that is what kept you guys together. And her understanding that you also have a vision that she has to support in order to get where you guys want to get. It goes both ways. But when it's a one way,
that's
just a ticking time bomb.
So I was telling her that actually last night I was watching a TikTok. This guy, he said something about why relationships don't last nowadays, and he was saying like the biggest reason why relationships break up is because the respect. He's like, when there's no more respect, he's like, and how do you lose respect is when your morals and your values don't align. So it's like, when you are going to go into a relationship, whether it's, your boyfriend or whatever, or friendships, it's really important that you look at their values and their morals. Because if let's say me and Betsy, we hit it off and then our morals don't align, I start losing respect for her, because I'm like, oh, wow, like I didn't know she was like this. Or, with your husband, if your husband starts doing these things that you're just like, wait, that doesn't align with my morals, you start losing respect for them. And that pulls you guys apart and that breaks you guys apart. So it's really important that the person you're with really has the same values and morals as you. And sometimes I think nowadays we're kind of like, oh, it's okay, he's cute, as long as he's good looking, that's all that matters.
As long as he pays my bills.
And it's like it goes deeper than that. It has a lot to do with who you are as a person, what you stand for, what you believe, what you hold, what's very valuable to you. If your family is like your priority, if both of ours match, then I know we're gonna make it work.
So we spoke a little bit about, I would say I don't feel that I'm machista, but you would say more of the dominant, more machista vibe side, right? There's also guys.
We're really getting into this. All right.
There's also,
now we're getting canceled.
There's also the guy that I would say that the guy that every girl dreams of in terms of He takes care of the babies. He's super loving. Open communication. Te lleva flores. He remembers every single anniversary. He remembers the first date. He remembers every single thing that you like, your favorite colors since you guys met. He writes you letters, all this stuff, right?
You have his number?
But it's so true what you just said. I 100% feel like every woman literally thinks that.
And sometimes girls say that they want a certain type of person, and sometimes they're don't.
Too nice.
Exactly.
They're too nice.
Yep.
And they want a bad motherfucker. Sometimes they feel.
Hold up. No, hold up.
True.
It is true. No, yeah, but I think too, women want a masculine men, because being too on your feminine energy, at least for me, I'm not looking for a guy like that. But you're right. There is a lot of girls that do
they take
want
advantage.
that.
They take advantage of them. I feel que a cada rato lo están cagando, a cada rato lo están, you know, like they want more. And
here are one or two things though. Okay, if you have this guy with all these qualities, right? And you have this female that always asks for all these qualities in a man, where's his masculinity though? You know, can she feel protected by this man still doing all these things?
But is it that's where they say, I guess, that it would be impossible to find this guy because I mean, yeah, because it's super hard.
Yeah, it's hard
to be a masculine man and to know what you're worth and to know who you are, but then also, you know, try to you know what I mean? It's really, really hard balance to do, because that's what I'm saying. I need to work on that side, which is like, I'm gonna bring, because I was never brought up like that, where it's like, I'm gonna buy you flowers, I'm gonna buy you this, I'm gonna buy you, I'm gonna
the way I mean,
You
didn't see that growing up.
Yeah, and I see that now, and I think it's really nice of guys to do. But I, like your guys were saying earlier, love language.
Your love language.
My love language is like, I'm taking care of you, but sometimes for the other person, that's not their love language. Sometimes for the other person, it's like, yeah, for me, I love spoiling you. I love showing you how much I'm gonna take care of you financially, and that you're never gonna
like
stay
a
without
provider.
a home. I love that.
Yeah.
However,
that's your love language.
She doesn't want that love language. So I have to change my.
You don't.
What the fuck?
We're look, because she's with you for a reason, and if she's been with you for all these years, it's because she loves that you're a provider, right? But you just have to adjust. You don't have to change. You adjust yourself to get in touch.
Well, that's what I meant. But yeah, I need to fix. I'm fixing
that's
those
what
things.
but that's what it is. A relationship is hard work. You know, it's not supposed to be like, oh, pues, a mí no me gusta hacer eso, so no se lo voy a hacer. No, it's like,
es que no me nace.
Exactly. No, like, there's things that you're gonna not want to do, but you're gonna have to compromise. So, you know, learn her love language.
Yeah.
Know what she really likes. Like, if you don't know,
it's not that she's asking. It's that I'm.
I'm
noticing como. You know, I just noticed things as a guy. It's like, dude, it would be nice. We're driving down the freeway. You see those guys selling flowers. I'm like, dude,
and why don't you do it?
I'm gonna buy some. I don't know. I honestly can't say.
Do you feel
there's like a mental block in terms of like?
El que quiere puede.
No, I know I can. It's not that I don't want to though. It's not that I'm like, no, she doesn't deserve that. I'm not thinking that either. It's not that I'm like, I'm just not used to it. It's for me. It's a cringe thing still for me, in
because you weren't brought up,
because I wasn't brought up like that, and that's why I'm saying that I'm trying to like slowly.
I would say honestly, just do it one day. Just do it. And that's the only way you're going to overcome that mental block. Because other than that, like, if you have it already in you that you want to do it, or you know that you should do it, it's for a reason. You know, so don't wait for it to be too late. Then, you know, one day she's going to get tired of it, because she's going to be like, damn, I waited so many years for him to actually do it. Nunca lo hizo. And you're going to go back to this day saying like, damn, I should have done it. I knew what I had to. I should have just done it.
Let me give you this. Okay. When you started your career, you knew what you had to do.
Yes.
Right? Did you all of a sudden start doing it? You had to get there. You learned how to get there. Same thing with those type of actions towards her. You know what you have to do. You have to start little by little. It takes 21 days to create a habit. So all you have to do is start. And then all of a sudden you'll see that once you keep doing it, it's just going to come naturally.
Naturally.
And one day you're driving home, you're like, let me have those flowers.
Yeah.
out of nowhere, because it's going to be a habit. It's going to be already embedded in you.
Yeah.
Same thing with your
built
business.
it.
You had to learn what you had to do, and now it's just like easy. Somebody asks you, hey, how do you do this edit? Oh, yeah, you do. You didn't know that when you started your business. You do now. Same thing with her.
Yeah. So again, and the reason why I brought that up about the nice guy, I'm gonna call him the nice guy. What is it? Is it the fact that he's too nice that people tend to step over him, or is it the fact that he didn't have that type of masculinity present in his life? Like what is it that this guy needs to do? Because again, I see this a lot where they're super nice, they're super attentive, and the girls sometimes just want more. For instance, I noticed a pattern of like, oh, if he wasn't like this, he would be the perfect guy for me.
But what is that?
But no, I'm just talking about it
in general.
In general,
yeah.
This is what a lot of girls say this, which is like, if only he didn't do this, he would be perfect. I would be so happy. And then they fix that.
Yes.
And then they find something else.
Yes.
And there's like, if only he didn't. Oh my God! If only he didn't do this, then and it's like it's never ending. Never ending of
and I'm gonna say, I think social media plays a huge part, because a lot of times we compare a relationship with what's being put out on social media. We see a man bringing her flowers, and we're like, a mí no me trae flores, but look at what other things he does for you. No te falta nada. Like, he comes home to you, he respects you, he doesn't cheat on you. Like, there's
He's
different
a good
ways.
role model.
But we tend to, and it's a normal thing, but we tend to follow society nowadays instead of really appreciating and admiring what our significant other already does. We're like, oh, pero yeah, like, he does all these good things for me, but if only he would bring me flowers, like, that would be perfect. And it's, you're never gonna find that. And that's why they're like, lo voy a dejar, and I'm gonna go find somebody that does that. And then that person does that, but guess what? He's cheating on you. And then you're like, now you start crying and all of that,
I also think it has to do with the women not knowing what they want.
Yeah.
One. And two, them not meeting that asshole that really broke them to the ground.
Ooh, period. Mic drop.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because already 30 minutes?
No, that's right.
I know. It's like, that's my ring.
Let me tell you why. If a woman met this asshole, okay, and let's say he was just a provider, right? But he didn't have all these qualities. And she was there just sitting, waiting for all these qualities, and broke her to the ground, completely to the ground. And then she separates from this person, and then she meets that guy that you're talking about. Don't you think he'll be appreciated a bit more?
Absolutely. So it also too, yes, I agree. So it also has to do with the men who they pick as their partner, because they're not gonna, you have to be careful with who you're choosing.
And the other thing we have to also, consider is, let's say he is a provider and he's missing all those qualities. But what are the other good qualities does he have? What are the other negative stuff that he brings? Because you could have a provider, but he could be an asshole. He could be an abuser. He could be all these things. Yeah. But are we going to stay there because he's a provider? Yeah. Are we leaving because he don't buy us the roses? What is the real reason behind it?
Yeah.
So I think this conversation could go many ways.
Many ways.
Yeah.
It just depends.
Yeah, because it also, too, I feel like it has to do with loving yourself. If you can't love yourself, no matter, you could be, like you said, the perfect or nice guy, like we'll call it. But if he's all that and you don't love yourself, you can't love him. And you're not going to appreciate him.
I wish I knew the stats in terms of that. Whether like is there a certain percentage of like how many girls, what are the percentage of girls that love themselves, and what is the percentage of guys that love themselves?
I am pretty sure that percentage is low.
In terms of who?
Loving yourself.
But who do you think loves herself less?
Oh, I don't know. That one's hard.
That's hard. We should do a poll.
I know.
We're going to do a poll, guys.
You comment.
I think, you could have the beautiful women on Instagram with so many followers, and you think she has everything in the world, but she does not love herself. But you will never know that.
Yeah.
And the other women on the other side of the phone is like, oh my gosh, I wish I could be like her.
Yeah.
But in reality, she doesn't love herself. So it don't matter what type of man she attracts. she's not going to be able to love him the way he needs to be loved.
Exactly.
Same thing for a man. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of pretty girls out there.
Absolutely.
But for me, like as a photographer, I love 10 times more, a trillion times more shooting someone that's confident. I love that.
Yeah.
Because
makes your job easier, right?
It's not even that makes my job easier. It's just you can genuinely tell that she loves herself. And that's why I feel there's sometimes where you'll see a really handsome guy and some would say a not that attractive girl together, and they'll say why. And I feel that's the reason why, because they connect, and that guy also loves the way that she loves herself.
Absolutely. I think too, like nowadays, I think, and I'm going to go back with social media, I think everything is all based on like, oh, if she's pretty, then that's everything. No, a lot of men are genuinely, like good men want a woman who is not just superficial. Like you could go with the girl that's like the prettiest, but dude, if she can't hold a conversation, that's a big turn off.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That is a big turn off, And I'm like, but it's crazy because not a lot of nowadays, a lot of women or men can't be alone. So like they'll break up with their relationship, and instead of taking that time to really learn about themselves and know how they can better themselves and heal from, that trauma that they went through, to be better for the next relationship. No, ahorita it's like they break up and immediately they're like, oh my God, I feel lonely, I need somebody, and they go on to the next relationship.
Yeah.
And guess what? Now they're carrying all the traumas, onto the next relationship. And if that guy is a good guy, guess what you just did? You just hurt him. You just broke him.
Over, yeah.
And it's like a repetitive cycle.
But I think it also goes back to social media. You could see a woman on social media and you think she has all the confidence in the world. Mm-hmm. And like you said, once you meet her, you're like, oh my gosh, this girl broken. But at the same time, I think women are really good at disguising that. Because I could sit right here and be completely honest with you. Let me ask you something. Do you think I'm confident?
I think you're confident in what I feel. I don't know you, right?
Yeah.
I don't know you personally. But in what the vibe that I get from you, I feel in the things that you're experience that, you're super confident. Mm-hmm. But in the things that you cannot control, you doubt. That's the energy that I get.
And that's correct. Like I could be, like I said, in my real estate and I'm confident. I could be here talking about this because of the experience I have and I'm confident. But you put me in a situation where I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, because I'm still learning how to, love myself. Mm-hmm. And Anita had a lot to do with that last year because, she would always compliment like, oh my gosh, mama, you're losing weight. You look great. Oh my gosh, you're doing good. I was like, no, I don't. I want to do this. I want to do this. I need surgery here. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you need to stop. Like, do you notice like every time I give you a compliment, you turn it into a negative?
Yeah, all the time.
And I was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Like every time she would say, you look skinny, I was like, oh, it's only 5 pounds. No. It was always something negative to attack to the positive. Mm-hmm. And ever since she called that out on me, I was like, okay, I need to stop that. So now when people say like, oh my gosh, you look great, I was like, oh, thank you. I'm starting to accept it, acknowledge it. But it took me years to get there. And in order for me to get there, I had to let go of stuff. And then not till you start figuring out, again, working within you on what is it that's stopping you from getting there, you're not going to get there. And that's why the saying is, it hurts harder to hold on than to let go. Because if you hold on, you're still going to hurt. Yeah. If you let go, you're still going to hurt. But at least with time, you're going to get better into a place where you're going to figure out yourself and how to love yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, yeah, because you can go into a relationship thinking that, he's going to better your happiness and your life and stuff. But if you're not happy with yourself, that's not, and I've seen that time and time where people break up with each other and they try with one person and they're expecting that person to make them happy. And it's like, it's not their responsibility to make you happy. It's your responsibility or not your responsibility, but it's your job to try to figure out who you are and what you love and how to love yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, I wake up in the morning super fucking happy. And maybe this has nothing to do with the type of love that you have towards yourself. Maybe some people just love to sleep, but I wake up happy as fuck. And I do see people wake up like pissed and shit. Like, and it's like, how can you wake up mad?
Negative
like,
people.
What the fuck?
It's a lot of negative people. It's crazy to think that there's a lot of people out there that look happy, but they really aren't happy. Mm-hmm. And they turn the smallest little things into like negative.
Yeah.
And it's just like they won't let go. If like, oh, the water spilled, oh my God, that ruined their whole day. And I'm like, it's just water. You just clean it up. It happens. You need to learn. And it's all part of like learning how to, accept your flaws, accepting them, and then working on them. And you can always better yourself. Yeah. Always. It's just really wanting to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to get mad like when I would go to fucking McDonald's and shit.
You don't have orange juice?
What? I asked you for ketchup. I ordered 7 Big Macs and you give me 3 packets of fucking ketchup? What is wrong with you? Yeah. But like now it's like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck no more.
You're like, I'll just buy ketchup out.
We gotta acknowledge, like, even the most positive person.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to come across that. I'm like, I wake up super happy, but there are things that still tick me. Like there's things that still. But again, I feel that now with the experience again that we have, we kind of know like what to prioritize and what to be like, you know what, that's not a big deal. I'm not gonna let this kind of fuck up my day.
Exactly.
You know what's funny? I was driving home, I think it was like 2 days ago, and this guy literally cut me off and the light turned red. So like I pushed my brakes, right? And my son was in the front and he's like, oh my gosh, look at this dude. Like, what? What? Like, he's all pissed. And I'm like, dude, it's fine. He's like, no, like, look, you close. You're going to hit the car. I was like, baby, it's fine. Let it go. Like, you're fine. Did I hit him? No? Okay, let it go. He's like, oh my God. That's what I mean. Like, it all comes back to the way you're being raised.
Yeah.
Because if I would have thrown a fit with him, I'd be like, this mother, you know?
He would have gone with it.
También el agarrado.
It rubs off.
It rubs off. So it's our job as a parent to help our teach how to turn a negative into a positive.
Yeah.
Or else they're going to go around the world turning all this.
It is true.
Raise negative people and shit.
Yeah. I swear, it's so hard. Like personal development, it's never ending.
Never.
Because I feel like for example, me, I know a lot of my bad qualities, right? But and that's what I love about myself, that I'm very good at acknowledging myself, because I'm like, oh, I notice that I get mad at like the littlest things. And so then I try to like work on that, because it's just a work in progress. And I can tell you, like, the person that I was a year ago, it's completely different from who I am now, So I think it really just depends on if you really want it. And, if you really want to be a different person, you can do it. We have Audible books. You got YouTube.
Yeah. There's a lot of things,
podcasts that can help you evolve as a person.
Subscribe,
please.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel even for to learn about yourself, and like you're saying, the bad things about yourself, or like the bad qualities. or pet peeves that you have about yourself. Me, I hate being fucking late. So I know that I don't mind people being late. I said I
He's all like, let me clarify. She's always late.
But you know what Steve Harvey said?
Oh God, they live longer.
They're actually the people that are late.
Less stress free. They live longer,
and they're very successful.
Well, I noticed that like I have more road rage when I'm late to stuff.
Yeah.
Or I get super impatient when I'm like running late.
Yep.
So I'm just half an hour early all the time now. So it just helps me. You know
yourself.
I know myself in terms of like I don't want to be late, and you guys are right. It's rubbing off because now my daughter, she's like, we got here 30 minutes before. What are we doing here? It's like, but what if there was traffic? What if there's an accident? What if I don't want to be stressing now? The bride and groom are gonna start getting ready. Yeah. Like I don't want to. So like I knowing yourself and trying to figure it out, because you can also know yourself and then like not do shit about it, and you just continue with that cycle.
Exactly.
But it's very important to learn about yourself and be on time.
I'm gonna be 15 minutes early,
we were
guys.
2 hours early. No, and let me tell you, and for our podcast, we would schedule at 9 a.m. We didn't start recording until like 11. Okay, I have not met Betsy being on time today. She said, "Meet me at my mom's house." She's like, and she calls me, right? She's like, "Hey, like, where are you at?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm like 20 minutes away." She goes, "Okay, I'm like 5 minutes away from my mom's house." I'm like, "Cool." I'm thinking I'm going to get there, just pick her up. We're heading out, right? I get there and I'm like, where's her car? I call her. I'm like, hey, like I'm outside your mom's house. She goes, I had to come home because I had guacamole. I was like, why did I think she was going to be on time? Why?
Wait, to my defense, I was in a hurry to get to my
Like
mom's
always.
house. And I did like a fast left turn, and Ethan was eating tacos because we had to leave from the event. And like the taco just went on my shirt. Like, damn it. So
she went to go change.
Get out the car, go to my mom's, go. And I took off to the house. Like she said, she's 20 minutes late. Oh no, 20 minutes behind.
20 minutes.
And then so I started, putting my pants and, oh, not this shirt. And I was like, okay, she hasn't texted. So I take off and she's like, I'm here. I'm like, I am down the street.
She's barely getting on the freeway. That's Betsy though. Like I haven't met her come punctual.
You know what? That's
ever.
gonna be my New Year's resolution next year.
Girl, the day.
And my bad. Like I my bad if I kind of stressed you out because I usually ask for ETAs, but that's because I don't want to be late.
Yeah.
I was still preparing stuff.
Don't worry.
And
with
I'm like,
Betsy.
oh shit! Like I want to make sure that I don't keep you guys waiting because I know you guys are driving so far.
I'm glad you touched into the subject because I need to do better at that. And you were right. It's very stressful because when I'm late, not only am I like trying to get stuff done, I'm like, the kids. I'm yelling at the kids. Let's go. Put your shoes on.
Te desquitas con los hijos.
And they're like, Mom, you just told us to get up right now. Get up.
You're like, but you should have been ready. Blaming it on the poor kids.
I got a showing in 10 minutes, So you're right. It's very stressful. And it's funny because somebody I know close to me used to tell me that, like, I would always wonder, like, why are we leaving an hour early? Because it's better there to get there early than to be late. And it's like, your plane doesn't leave till like 2. It's 12. Yes, but you don't know if it's traffic. You don't know there's a long line at the, TSA. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because I would call them and I'd be like, did you make it on time? I was like, oh yeah, there was no line. So we could have left like 30 minutes later.
Yeah, and that pisses you off.
What the hell? But
and then you would have been rushing.
He was right. So yeah, I definitely need to work on that. When it comes to business.
Okay, wait.
This is not like
let me
call you out.
Let me just tell her. Her New Year's resolution for 2023 was that.
No. I said 2024.
No,
2021,
2022. Yes. She told me, Mama, for New Year's, my goal is to be on time. I was like, all right, we got this.
But my year really started till April. In April, I started feeling like myself again.
I'm dead. I am so dead. Should have brought my faja here.
Dude, even with the faja.
I can punch in the camera after if you guys know.
No, you're good. No, it's fine. Let them lonjas be. This is who I am. I love myself. What you mean? Just kidding.
She loves herself right there. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm like, hey, it's
I'm still
normal.
work in progress.
Did that take you a while to
learn to accept
I feel
myself?
that for girls it's a lot difficult, right? Like I mean I'm right now looking at myself, I need a little Botox right here. But I mean
you should do a segment with Botox.
I don't have no idea what that like I don't even know what that like.
We were just talking about that.
I was like,
we need Botox.
Wrinkles now.
I was like, damn, I need to go for my touch up next month already.
I don't even know what that. I just know that they didn't inject
It's so
it, but
girls. I
don't
swear, it's so fun being a girl though, because there's so many things that you can do, like make yourself feel better about yourself. Like if you're having a bad day, like you just get to dress pretty, put on some makeup. You can always perfect and improve yourself.
Yeah,
I love that.
You talked about loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about the filters and like every
It's funny you bring that up because Betsy hates filters. I love filters.
I hate filters. It doesn't look like me. Like one picture.
We're complete opposites, I'm telling you. I swear.
One picture of me is like, okay, that's me. And the next picture is like,
lips.
And it's like, it does not look like me. So,
and I love filters. I don't know why.
You could do like, brighten up the face a little bit. Like, yeah, cool. But you have those filters where you're like completely.
I know, and
it's funny because I have a friend and he's single and he's on the dating app. And we talk about it all the time. He's like, dude, she catfished me. I was like, what? He's like, nothing like her pictures. I was like, well, did you take a picture of her? No,
God.
like I just saw her and we were talking and like, the conversation didn't lead to nowhere.
Ugh.
It was just blah. And then I was like, and then I'm looking at her because it's so quiet. Like, bitch, you don't look like yourself. You don't look like your profile picture. I was like, you're an asshole. He's like, it's just crazy because now he's trying out there to get somebody, but
it's hard.
He doesn't know what to believe on these dating apps. So it's crazy. I think filters could add a little,
improvement,
like boost your self-esteem, but it could also like make you dependent on these filters. That when you see yourself in the mirror, you're gonna be like, damn.
Yeah.
Because I know women that all their pictures in their profile are filters. And I know that person. I'm like, dude, you do not look like that.
That's true.
Like,
I personally, for me, I love using them on stories, but like on my pictures, I just put myself, you know. But for me, it's just like fun. Like I think I look cute, like, you know.
And it's funny because I just because I'm being forced by work, but from my team, to post more. You know, post pictures of myself. And you told me about, what was the app called?
Face app.
Is it Face app? Is it Tune app? Something like that?
Facetune.
Facetune. I remember you told me, like, oh yeah, you could add this, and I was like, what? And I would play with it, but my pictures, you know, if I try to edit like the panza and the lonja and the hand, I was like, it looked like this.
Oh,
I can tell.
the whole fucking couch is.
The lines are all like.
I was like, man, I can't do this. And then I started playing with it like in Arizona.
Oh,
and I was like,
I didn't know
just,
this.
Like, move it just a little bit. I was like, oh, damn. Okay. So I just started playing with that. But again, it's just when people see me or my clients see me, I'm like, damn, she's nice. She's skinny. I'm like, I'm with the, you know, hey, guys.
So, Adrian, let me ask you. Let's put you on the spot. Do you, no, I'm just kidding. What do men think about women who use filters?
Do you guys even know you use filters?
Okay, well, I can't speak on behalf of all men.
But you?
But you see, it's hard because he works in this
It's hard
industry.
because I work in it, but
no, but it's good because especially because you work in this industry. I want to know, like,
I see girls that use it in a healthy way, and I do see girls that use it in an unhealthy way. Right. Like you're saying earlier, if you're using it a little bit to touch yourself up, that's great. I mean, even anyone, you take a picture, you're gonna adjust for the lighting. You're gonna. It's like little things like that. You're gonna put on makeup to look a little bit more bright. Like that's a healthy thing. However, when people request, hey, can you completely like take, you know, this every single chin, then sometimes it's like I mean I can.
Me quitas la papada.
I can, but it's a little
hard.
It's hard because I did this to someone, right? And I'm gonna say this story, but I did this to someone where they're having and she was 18. She's at 18th birthday. Her mom wanted to bring her for a photo shoot. She came and I took pictures of her. And as a photographer, sometimes you do pose them, you know, in certain ways where les vas a se va a mirar su arm bigger and stuff like that. So I'm cautious of that, and I know that I'm gonna touch up a little bit. But I do that on purpose for the angle. Yeah. There's some people that are shorter that have shorter arms that when you do this, like it's not gonna look as pleasant as like if someone with long arms is doing that, right? So I know that, and I'll just pinch a little bit here and there. However, with this girl, she asked for. I sent her the pictures once, re-edited, like touched up how I wanted to pinch them. Yeah. And she requested a second edit. And I was like, okay, I'll pinch you a little bit more. And a week later, she's like, no, I'm going to post these. I want this to be a little bit more pinched. Anyways, by the time with like the fifth edit, compared it to the first one, completely different.
Oh, wow.
And I actually went to this birthday party where she was at. And I mean, it sucks because she had that picture posted on the board, you know, on the picture board. Yeah. And I went there because like I'm the photographer.
I went,
you know, but it's like now I looked bad because it's like, what did I do to her? Like, she doesn't
they're probably
look like
thinking
this.
like, damn, he photoshopped.
And I also don't want to call her out. Like, also like, no, she asked for this. Like, you know, so again,
like, I'll take the hit.
Yeah,
as a gentleman.
Yeah. So I was like, so I do feel that I do see some people use it in a healthy way and some people don't. I would, even my thumbnails, I'll take them off my little granitos. I'll touch up myself. You know, I use filters as well. Yeah. Of course, it's all also because of my portfolio, my presence, and my presentation. I want that to be like look good as well. So I don't know. I can't speak on behalf if it's a bad thing or a good thing. I just feel that as long as you use it in a healthy way, I feel it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Healthy way.
Yeah. That's a good.
I got scared. You were asking about asking a question. I was like, what the fuck?
So like putting me on the spot over here. ¿Qué me va a preguntar?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I think people will get used to it, right? For me, like whatever she asked you for, I probably would ask you for, you know? But at the same time, you know, me having a picture like that and me knowing how I look is going to make me used to doing that. And when I should be working to get to that, right? So I might become complacent on filtering and doing all these edits to myself. When
dependent on it.
when in reality I should be working out and getting myself to the point where I'm going to be comfortable in my body.
But there's also like BBL stuff too. So it's like, I think even like for BBLs, it's like the 3.0 of fucking filters basically. That's like, true. But like real life, you know, like you can, instead of like, again, working out and stuff, if you find it easier, faster. Or sometimes it's not even that it's a bad thing that they're doing like liposuction and stuff. It's like sometimes even healthier because, you know, people actually do like have the health. Gastric leads. Yeah. Like they do have health issues and they do that. So I feel that, again, so as long as you use it in a healthy way and like you realize like, you know what, I don't want to get used to that, I might carry that bad habit, then it should be like,
well, I think cool. Speaking about like BBLs, I think they're not a bad thing. I think it's like you said, I think if it's used in a healthy way, because I think if a girl is insecure and she goes and gets a BBL, trust me, yes, you might feel good and, you know, but deep down, you're still going to feel insecure because you haven't healed or at least, you know, gone deep within.
I don't know.
No, trust me. I've seen it with photography.
No, trust me.
They'll feel confident. They'll feel good because of the post, not within themselves.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
You see, and I would think like for me, my goal is to lose 30 pounds, right? I'm still trying to lose my firstborn's weight, baby weight. But, you know, sometimes I get myself into like, maybe I need to go get like lipo and a tummy tuck, like a mommy makeover, right? But just knowing like the pain that they go through, and I'm a big baby. So I'm like, dude, I can't do that. And I've seen it in person when they come right out of surgery, right? And I'm like, you're brave because I couldn't have done that. But at the same time, it's like, what would that do to my confidence? Like, that would give me a boost because when I lose 10 pounds,
of course.
I feel great. You know, even my pictures, you could tell. So have I thought about it? Yes. I'm just too chicken shit to do it, I guess. But I would think that would bring a woman's confidence up.
You think, and I've seen it because I've been around it. I've seen a lot of women who have BBLs, and I'm like, wow, you know, you look beautiful and all of that. And on social media, they're posing and all of that. But when you meet them in person, they're even like embarrassed to walk in front of me.
Really?
Yeah, and then you're like, whoa, like you look so confident. You have online. A BBL. Yeah, online it's very different than when you meet them in person. But then I would think, you know, oh, well, you have a BBL, like you have a banging body, like you have a pretty face. You should feel. I would be showing it off, right? Because you, it's like you think that, but they're so insecure.
I think sometimes it even plays into like their, what do you say, like. They feel even bad for themselves in a way because they knew that it was paid for. So sometimes they might be like, true. I'm scared to feel confident because I didn't even work for it, right? So they feel good. That's what I'm saying, that when it comes to pictures, of course, they're gonna love it. But then when it comes to like
real life,
it's like I don't know. I would want to bring someone on here to talk about this, someone that actually has done it, because it is.
I'll be back.
Because it is an interesting conversation and a topic to talk about, you know, because again, and I don't want to speak too much on it because I don't know, right, what they go through. Yeah. But the people that I've seen and I've worked with, I do see that a lot where it's like, they're, even though they thought because se quitaron aquí, now ahora se quieren quitar acá, and then they quieren quitar aquí,
never happy,
and then se
quieren
quitar. That's what I'm saying. It's now internal. You're not happy with yourself
internally.
Like right now, Anita. Like I know that you're like right now. You said it like que salgan las lonjas and everything.
Yeah,
that's super healthy.
No, cover me.
That's super healthy if you are able to show that, and then you know what, I'm gonna get a mommy tuck. Then fuck it. But you already mentally know that you're good. So you're just now. You know, doing it because
because I know there's girls who you know are very happy within, and there's little things that they're like, oh, I just wish I had a little bit more aquí. Y van y se operan, and they're like, oh, this is perfect. Now I feel really good. But it's because internally they've been working on it and they've been happy with themselves. It's just little minor adjustments. But when it's a drastic change and you're not fully like loving yourself deeply inside, then I don't think it really changes much, you know?
Yeah.
So, But I'm all like, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I still like my poses. I'm like, oh, and what angles am I going to look best? And if I'm going to take a picture, I want to look good. But when it comes to like videos and stuff, I'm like, dude, this is who I am. Like, I don't want to edit. Like, si me ven mi papada, you know, my lonjita, like I'm okay with it because a lot of times I was stuck into like that world, like, oh my God, mira, se siente y no se le hace lonja. Y yo me siento y estoy bien lonjuda. And then I started seeing some influencers posting, like they had a baby, la panza arrugadita, and they were confident showing, and it made me
Shout
feel
out
like,
to them because it's
for real. Yes.
Shout out to them because
exactly. It takes a lot.
And I'm pretty sure they get a shitload of hate.
Oh, yeah. But then they also do get a lot of positivity.
People,
and a lot of women are now feeling like, because I know what it did for me. I was like, oh, snap. Like, you know, these are people that I follow that I think that are beautiful. And the fact that they're showing what it truly is, like stretch marks, like a pancita arrugada, I'm like, dude, like I feel comfortable now wearing my little, you know, crop tops. And I'm like, shoot, it's normal. You know, it's okay. And I feel accepted. And that kind of helped me love myself too now. You know, so it's just the little things that, but it just doing it. Cause I remember the first time I was like showing poquito mi pancita and it was like arrugada. I was like, I was out in public and I was like, oh my God, no. And then I was like, you know what? I started, before I couldn't wear 2 pieces, like my bathing suits. I could not do 2 pieces. It was always 1 piece. I could never do it. Now I go to the pool and I wear my little 2 pieces and I see people looking at me and I'm like, I don't care. Like I feel good and I look good and this is just what I'm, you know?
I think for something like that, the beach would be like a good way to start because there's a lot of people in the beach that are like super confident.
And I did that last year. And I was so uncomfortable. I was so uncomfortable because that was the first time I put my 2-piece bathing suit and I was like, oh my gosh, should I take off my shirt? Should I not? And it was even more harder because I went with my family. And they've never seen me like show off like that much. I'm not used to it, right? So I was like, oh my God. And I was like, you know what? This is a good way for me to learn how to face my fears. And I was like, fuck it. And I took it off and I was like, and I was like, okay, nobody's looking at me. And then, you know, I was like, all right. I told my niece, I'm like, do a photo shoot for me. And she was like, okay. And she was hyping me up. And then I was looking at my pictures. I'm like, oh, I don't look that bad, you know, and I was like, okay, I look good. And then from there, it got easier. I was like, all right, next time I'm going to wear it. And I started ordering a bunch of 2-piece bathing suits. And now that's all I wear. I'm like,
I think for guys, to be honest with you, I don't know. Again, I can't speak on behalf of everyone, but I would,
for you.
Just for me, I think that when a girl shows that she has stretch marks on purpose, then that comes across as a confident person. And for us, it's attractive. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yes, because you're showing who you are and you're not hiding. You're not coming across as a bullshitter. You're coming across as, dude, if she's able to just show this, then I know she's not going to bullshit me. You know what I mean?
Me want naked on the beach. Stay tuned.
Adrian said so.
But like when they try to hide it and then se le sale, or you can tell right away, like, oh, she did this. And especially as a photographer, like, oh, she posed like this para que no se le mirara. Or she posed like this, that way she did. But I can see in the reflection, or I can see on this angle. I can see. So then that's when you're like, that you kind of get, that's why they say a lot of, for YouTubers, show who you really are and be authentic, because your viewers are going to catch when you're bullshitting.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with pictures. I can tell when it's like black and white stretch marks laying down, like show what you have. And then you can pose like nice pictures and you already showed your true colors and stuff.
Yeah.
You see, I'm not there yet. I can say.
Okay, we'll do a photo shoot right now.
No,
we'll get you there.
We'll stop at Target, get you a cute bathing suit right now. 2
We'll
pieces.
put a fucking green screen, put a beach.
I admire that from Anita. You know, when I met her, this is a completely new Anita, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I was the one like motivating her, like, dude, you're beautiful. She's like, I'm too skinny. And I was like, bro, I'm too fat.
Yeah.
You know?
So remember when I came for my birthday?
Yeah.
And you did my birthday shoot last year. Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah.
Was it last year?
No, it was 2 years ago.
I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was.
We'll post them
I
right
was.
here.
I know. Put them right here. Let them know what's up. Dude, I was so
shoot.
broken, and I remember she was like, "Dude, like just go do it." And I was like,
"You're gonna feel
no,
good
I don't
about
feel
yourself."
good." And after I did that photo shoot, I was like, "Dude, like." I felt good, but I said at the same time I didn't, because my body wasn't what I was used to. I had lost a lot of weight, and I told you this.
Yeah.
But I lost drastic weight, so I was like, oh my God. Like at the moment I was feeling good, and I received my photos and I was like, oh, they look good. But then I was like, dude, like I could be better, because I know where I could be, you know? But that year I was like, damn, I was so broken. And she was the one like pushing me, like, Anita,
she
do
sent me
this.
those pictures, and she's like, Mama, what do you think? I was like, Anita, you look amazing. What are you talking about? Like, you look gorgeous. Like, post these. You sure? I was like, post them now. Like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know. Like, I'm too skinny. I need to gain more weight.
Yeah.
I was like, this is where you come to the point where women are never happy with themselves because I'm the other way around. I want to be skinny. And then she tells me, she's like, Mama, I want your butt.
Yeah, I'm like, give me all the weight. Give me all the weight you want to lose.
Take it. I don't want to take it. But, you know, I need, and it doesn't, not that I don't love my body. I think I'm very, you know, I'm Salvadorian, so I'm very curvy. You know, I have the hips, I have the butt, I have the arms, I have the, but, you know, I need to start loving myself because even if I lose 30 pounds, I'm still going to be this person where like, don't look at me. You know, I go to the beach or I wear shorts, like she'll notice, I cover myself up.
Yeah,
I cover my butt. And she's like, why are you covering your butt? I was like, because I don't want to
like,
look.
show it off.
Show it off. People pay money for that. I was like, no.
It's true.
You know, because I cover up. And it's funny because somebody used to tell me like, why don't you wear dresses? And I hated dresses. I could never wear dresses. And barely last year, I started wearing dresses and I started feeling good. And she was the one who was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen you in a dress. And I was like, I feel so uncomfortable. I'm showing too much. And she's like, no, like you look amazing. It was for Bad Bunny, I think, right?
Oh yeah, the Bad Bunny concert.
And she took pictures of me and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm like sexy.
Yeah.
But
it took her a while.
That day's over and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I start covering up again because I am not there yet. And I'm okay saying that. I'm okay admitting I'm not there yet where I'm comfortable with my body. I don't know if it has to do with, you know, my past or, you know, anything that I've been through. But I think once I start working more on myself like I am right now, I will get there. But, you know, it's right. Women are never going to be happy unless you fix yourself internally.
Yeah. And I think for me, like that whole year and a half, I had to work internally. And now once I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm learning to love myself. I started going to the gym. I gained like 20 pounds in like 4 months. And I was like, wow, like, oh my God, I'm starting to feel good. But it really had to be from within to the outside. Now, like, I'm so happy with myself. Like I told you, I'm wearing 2 pieces out there and I'm like,
fuck it.
Yes, like I'm happy. And I mean, you know, this is the best I've ever felt, the best I've ever looked in my own eyes, you know?
Now we can go on for hours.
I know. I'm stay tuned for the podcast because these are the topics we're literally gonna have, you guys.
No, well, thank you guys for coming. Thank you for joining me on this talk. I hope I don't get canceled on any of the shit that I say.
No.
But it
was healthy. I don't think it was anything wrong. Nothing was badly said. I think, you know, and I think once again too, like we have to kind of, you know, bring the realness into today's, you know, society.
Yeah, because let's just say, even if there's some of the things that I said wrong, right, as a guy, I'm not that well spoken, right? And then there's sometimes where guys feel that if they say something, they're saying it sometimes because they want to learn and they want to improve themselves, right?
Yeah.
That's the reason why I ask you guys questions, or even when we're not on camera. Last time we had like an hour conversation of different topics, and I asked those conversations because I want to learn from you guys as well. It's like, what can I do to better myself as a man?
Exactly.
But if I talk about it here and I get backlash from people with like girls, let's just say, then that's the reason why a lot of guys don't want to have those conversations, because they're always going to feel that they're going to get bashed and shit or stuff like that. Their upbringing was fucked up, right? So I appreciate you guys for coming. I'm gonna leave their links down below. If these are the conversations they're gonna be having, so make sure you guys go subscribe to their channel. Anita, Betsy, you guys are amazing.
Oh, thank you for having us, Adrian. I know, and like honestly, you've been so supportive through everything, and we love you. And
thank you.
We appreciate you so much, and we're grateful that you brought us on here, and I'm so glad that we're launching our podcast. And so you guys, everybody subscribe. He'll link all the details down below. We're gonna our Instagram is actually under construction, so the name is gonna be a different. Just everything's gonna be revamped, better 2.0, Anita 2.0, Betsy 2.0, and just hoping that we can inspire all these beautiful women out there, men, and just bring you guys along our journey. So. Yeah, stay tuned, guys.
And yes, in our first episode, we're actually going to have a special guest. and it's going to be Adrian.
Yeah.
I'm down.
So you guys
get
thought
to
this
put you
was
in the hot
good.
seat.
Yeah.
So now you guys,
Damn, I don't know. I'm ready for that.
We were in the hot seat. Now it's gonna be his turn.
I'm down.
So.
I'm down.
Yes.
I'm down. So I'm open to that. So let's do it.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for staying till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.